Hey, DFG here, Gideon's Flight. Hey, I want to do a quick shout out to my, before I get started, my GF brothers, at least my board of directors, Sharif Green, Jonathan Speaks, Dennis Mendez, Derek Green, and then James Peoples. I'm sorry, James, I always get that wrong. I just want to, give a special shout out to those men who really love what we're trying to do, inside of our communities, what we're trying to do as it relates to the broader community of men, and I just want to, before I start this video, give them a quick shout out in terms of, appreciating, what they do and the commitment and sacrifices that they make to try to make, this country a better place. And, that's a good segue into what I want to talk with you about today. And what I want to talk about is, how did LeBron James become the new black face of leadership? And I say this, with all respect to Mr. James and the work that he's trying to do with opening up, the school in Los Angeles. And that's a good thing. And we need more, black millionaires to invest in the communities, to create, young entrepreneurs, and also support black businesses as well, which I haven't heard. He may be doing some things in that regard, so I want to stop right there. But I want to let me get back on track. Although I can appreciate what Mr. James is doing in regards to giving back to the community, but Mr. James is not an elected official. Not only is he not an elected official, and we shouldn't treat him as one, we should not let the mass media create him to be one for us. Now, Mr. James, as he said, brought his talents to Miami and now brought his talents to Los Angeles, is a basketball player. You know what I'm saying? Most of his wealth is generated from doing something that, out of every athlete in the inner city that you see, I'm talking about a needle in a haystack. Maybe one out of 100,000 will get to the professional level. And those other 99,000 plus, we have to take more accountability and responsibility for what gets propagandized to us or to him, to them. Because we're creating this scenario through the mass media, I might add, to tell everybody that our leaders have to be entertainers and athletes. But we never hear the mass media saying the same thing about who their leaders are. I don't hear anybody saying that Tom Brady needs to be the next president of the United States, or Andrew Luck, or for that matter, I don't see them going and tapping on Larry Bird and say, hey, Larry Bird, we need you to be the mayor of Boston. I don't hear any such rhetoric such as that, whether it's in any sports, because they understand that their leaders are not entertainers. Their leaders are educators. Their leaders are experts in politics and strategic thinking, team building. Individuals who not only were born and raised in these communities, but are always connected to these communities. And again, this is not taking a punch at LeBron James. This is just calling it what it is. It's far too often. When they start talking about Muhammad Ali and Jackie Robinson and come on, you guys know these other names. Of course, now LeBron James is in the mix. To Jordan's credit, he kind of stays in his lane. He's an athlete. He's a professional sports guy, and that's where he spends his time at. I can respect that. He gets it. The Charles Barkleys of the world. Those guys are not your leaders. Those guys are entertainers. They are multi-millionaire entertainers who have made their money running up and down basketball courts, or throwing footballs or hitting golf balls or whatever it is that they do. But they are not your elected officials, and nor should you allow mass media to make them out to be your elected officials. When you create that kind of narrative, what you come across childlike. And there's not a black woman or a black man that I can think of, so-called black man, black woman, who would not get highly upset if somebody calls them a boy or a girl. And we know this. But when you allow people to dictate to you, what your politics are, dictate to you who your leaders are, dictate to you what your agenda is, dictate to you, what are the innate problems in your community, then you're allowing them to marginalize you and treat you as boys and girls. Because adults don't let other adults tell them how to think, what to think or when to think. And we have to be educated enough now to understand that, guys. It's 2018. We're still living in the Muhammad Ali, our superhero stage. Are you kidding me? We should have by now grown. That's over a decade ago when we were looking at black sports figures, because we had no other images that were positive images that we could look at and call, our inspiration. Our leaders should come through the same systems that every other leader comes through. You follow me? They should understand political science. They should be community activists. They should be hardworking. They should understand the needs of your community. They should understand their responsibility to answer to you based off of the needs of your community. And they should be willing to die for your community. You think LeBron James is willing to die for his community? You think he's willing to put all of that wealth he has on the line for your community? I think not. And again, no disrespect to Mr. James. I'm telling you that do not fall for the okie doke again. LeBron James is not our leader. Okay? Our leaders should be businessmen, professional people, doctors, lawyers, teachers, educators, entrepreneurs, builders, lenders, mothers, fathers. That's where we go to pull our leaders from. And we don't need mass media determining that for us. And that's exactly what's going on right now, guys. They're creating this narrative all over again. Now LeBron James want to tell you what your politics are. He want to tell you how to think about, the current president of the United States. And all of these things. And it's all set up. He's being propped up to create this illusion that he is what black leadership looks like. And that's sheer foolishness. It does not look like that. Black leadership looks like you, and black leadership looks like me. And until we understand that, then we're going to have a hard time earning respect, demanding respect. As long as they can treat you like a little boy and girl and tell you who your heroes are going to be, who your leaders are going to be, who knows best what you think it's going to be, until we're able to move away from that type of childish mentality, we're going to continue to be disrespected by the greater population, the world population. I can't imagine leaders around the world looking over into America at the so-called black person, African American, and saying to themselves, that's the best y'all can come up with, a basketball player? I think not. Okay? And I'm calling on you and I'm challenging you guys. Don't fall for it. You let LeBron stay in his lane. He's an athlete and he's an entrepreneur. And it's great he wants to invest in schools in our communities. But that's his lane. Last I checked, I don't think the guy got past 12th grade, and he went to these basketball schools at 10, 11, 12th grade, which quite frankly, they're not educational schools. They're minor league athletic stables, if you want to know the truth about it. And they don't educate those young men in these, so-called athletic schools. These schools have a student body sometimes of 25 people, and their teacher is the coach, and he's teaching them how to shoot a basket. And now all of a sudden, 20 years later, he's your leader because he made some money. You got to do better than that, guys. You got to raise the bar. LeBron James is not our leader. Now you know, DFG, coming from you from the cemetery. Cradle to the grave. Love you guys. Thank you for listening. Peace.